morning, everybody, and welcome back to Business Over Breakfast. My name is Ben Barber.
Lord Jatari here. I always wish I could have the energy that you have when you start up in the morning.
I'd like to let you know that energy is 100% forced.
It's good. It's good.
This is what happens. Well, first of all, the theme song is infectious. But it's short. It's a shorter theme song than most of the ones that we use, and I have to hit like 11 buttons before from the time I hit that theme song to the time that you and I are on screen. I have to hit like 11 different buttons. And so really what's happening that you don't see is while that video is up, I'm going, okay. And then I hear it and I go, hey everybody, like I have to. So it's
so good. Yeah, that's so good. So while the theme song's playing, I'm going, okay, let's go. So let's jump right in. First of all, how are you? Are you getting through this freezing cold weather?
Oh my God, I've barely noticed it.
All right.
Most of my days happen within these four walls, honestly. Yeah, literally underground. Actually, it's not. So it's kind of underground on this side, but it's not. This is a door.
Nice.
So it's not fully underground, but I'm a little bit in a bunker. Absolutely. But yeah, no, the cold weather hasn't been. Oh
my goodness.
Hasn't been that terrible. Knock on wood. How about you?
Well, I'm thinking that because my office is freezing. I have 3 walls of windows here and one wall.
I should clarify. It is freezing in here.
Oh,
it is cold. It is definitely cold, but it's not bad.
That's cool. Well, we're gonna have a lot of sunshine this morning. I tell you, we got a lot of color and some great stories to tell. And so we have a wonderful guest. Let's bring on Marta Martinez, who's the executive director of the Rhode Island Latino Arts. Hey, Marta, buenos dias.
Buenos dias. Hey there.
The color is amazing. Wow. That's exactly what I needed this morning. A little influence of color here. So welcome. First, we're going to take a look at a video this morning of your beautiful space. And I just want to thank you for coming on to the show. We've known each other in circles for decades. And I think that there's kind of a confluence of your book and the story about the lion fabric sign, which is kind of like getting crazy on Facebook. And I don't know if you saw, but on my post about the sign this morning, someone thinks that they have the letters of the word. So we should be like giving a little prize there.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, that's what happens when you promote. I mean, you put it out there, people start to respond to everything about that post. Yeah, I've been reading it. It's really heartwarming, all the stories that are coming out.
It's great. And there have been like friends from Colombia and so this particular friend of mine is from Cumberland, and she's like, I'm completely obsessed with figuring out what these letters are. So I'm going to start like, okay, go. We've done our work here.
Definitely. Let's give a prize then.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to show a video, right, Lori? Do you want to intro this video and then we'll get into the interview?
Absolutely. So you can find the video. We'll put the link up when we post the story about our Business Over Breakfast. So you can take a look at the whole video. We're starting at about halfway, but I really wanted people to see how beautiful the space is. And it's right in the center of Central Falls. And it's just, you walk in and it's just like a ray of sunshine. It's just I was so taken aback personally. So let's take a look.
We opened the Galeria del Pueblo. That's where we are. That's what this is called. So it's called the Gallery of the People. It quickly became, when we opened it, it became very popular. Artists came and brought their artwork, and we had changing exhibits. Every 6 months, I would feature a different artist of a different style, and we had performances in here. I think this has become more of the signature event, the center of what Rhode Island Latino Arts does. It's inspired art in every shape and form. What first started as a volunteer effort on my part, more of something that came out of my heart, from my corazón, that I wanted to connect with the Latino community and have them connect with each other. It symbolizes a home, finally, because the artists to me are the life force of the organization. It wouldn't exist without them. When COVID hit, they were at home not doing art, they were creating. This world cannot survive without art, and we can't let that flame go out during COVID, because we all were going through dark times, and they were too. COVID had no right to make that flame disappear. And so I gave them the opportunity to create. And so luckily, I didn't expect them to leave their art behind, but they all felt that it belonged to us. They created the art and they left it behind for us. I want people in 50 years to look back and say, I contributed to that. The history that I'm documenting, whether it's through the photographs that I collect and scan, and the stories that I've recorded, and the transcripts that are going to be filed away in an archive. I want people to look back, who are young now, to look back and say, I was part of that history, and to be very proud of it.
Aw, that was amazing.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
The space is so gorgeous. And so let's back it up a little bit. We came together at a Panera Bread, me, you, and my dad, to initially start talking about your wonderful book here. So you wrote this book, Latino History in Rhode Island, and that is the documenting that you're doing and continuing to do. I'm always playing with this camera. And so one of the, so this isn't just about the Colombian history, which is part of my history, but it's all Latinos, and you walk through. So can you just talk about how that project started?
Sure. I mean, I don't know if your audience knows, you've been doing this for a while, but Lori was born in Colombia. Do they know that you were born in Colombia?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yes, I was born in Colombia.
Yeah.
And 2 years ago, right before the pandemic, I just went and got my birth certificate. And my official birth certificate.
Nice. Yeah. So there's something revealed about Lori.
Yeah.
And those are the kinds of stories I hear. So when I moved to Rhode Island, I was looking primarily for the Mexican culture, which is my heritage. I was born in Mexico and raised in Texas, came to Rhode Island. And then this is the late 80s, 88, 89. And I just started to wander around mainly South Providence looking for Latinos, and I ran into some, and I started to listen to some really wonderful stories. So that's where the project started, and it kind of grew from meeting one person, and that person just kind of put me in touch with others, and primarily going to the library and looking up any information, and there was nothing there. There was nothing positive, I should say, about the Latino community. I did run across a couple of newspaper articles of your father, Lori, that he had been interviewed. And so I reached out to him. And that was in the 90s. I already had been searching other parts of the community, mainly the Dominican, the Caribbeans. And then all of a sudden the story of Colombia came to mind, and the Colombians, and your dad had a huge yeah, he was responsible. I've told him that, and I think you've been trying to talk him into accepting that role. He's responsible in a very good way. I really want to make sure that it's people know that, if it wasn't for your dad, Jay, the Central Falls wouldn't be what it is today. It would have, the mills would have closed. They would have shut down, right?
Yeah.
And so that project has unfolded. It's an oral history project now. And I had a website, and people kept telling me, do a book. And so the book came out. It was published in 2014. And I think that's about when.
Wow, the book was published in 2014. It feels like yesterday.
Yeah, right.
I can't believe that.
Yeah, it's because it never ends.
It
never ends. I'm always calling Lori or her dad. And I mean, there's always more to add, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, it does feel like yesterday. And that's when I believe I met you.
Yeah,
Lori.
here's a good picture. That's me and my dad.
That's you in Panera Bread.
In Panera Bread, that's right. That's so funny. Yeah, because my dad lives in Florida now, and so it was one of those like, come on, we got to do this now. He's leaving.
Yeah, and it was great because I had already written up the story, and he added to it, and he made some corrections, which was important to me because this is not just a project or something fun. It's history. It's the creation of history. And I think everybody that contributes to it, that's the first thing I tell them is like, you are adding to this history of an untold history of a community that has really made a great influence in the state and the country. Yeah.
And I think that part of that research was, so my dad is an engineer, and he loves that kind of searching project. I got a project for you is like one of his famous statements, like, oh, sure, bring it on. But I mean, for him to contact those first 5 guys that he brought to the United States and to see how wonderful their family life was and where they were or what they were doing. And I think for him, that was such a big, it was just, it was such a great connection. It was like you were the catalyst for this full circle project for a small story in the whole history, just like the song, it's like this one little piece of what brings together this huge Latino community in Rhode Island.
Yeah, you referred to a small story, and I don't look at it that way. To me, every story I hear is huge. It really is. Everybody who contacted me has somehow read. I think the website has such a broader reach because people from all over the world have contacted me. And they don't reach out just to say, hey, I love your website. It's really great. They reach out because they have something to add to it. And it moved them to contribute, and they and very directly, I mean, almost like you, I think you had written an email to me. I don't remember how you found it, but you wrote an email because you read about it and you wanted to add, you wanted something to contribute.
Yeah.
Including your stories. I mean, going back to that picture of the lion sign, I mean, I've loved just reading it and these objects that people think are just objects. And I think you had also said something, oh yeah, it's a sign, but it's a cool sign. Yeah. But what it conjures up is all those beautiful memories that you shared, not just on Facebook, but you've been telling me. And I'm so glad you wrote that because every time you talk, I'm dying because I don't have my tape recorder with me. And that's something.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But then reading all the comments from people, oh, I remember the smells, going there, right?
Yeah, yeah. And my brother and sister both commenting on the caramel creams that we used to get out of the candy machine.
Yeah,
it's everything. Because I was saying to either you or my dad about that story was I could do a design of what that. Where the tables were, where the sewing machines were, where, the salesperson and my grandmother and where the adding machine was anyway, it was, but I think that, the focus that I want for us this morning is one of the things that Ben and I do is we just talk to these people every week about what they're doing in Rhode Island to really support our communities and bring in kind of economic prosperity to the communities so that we can all support each other. So I'd love to just shift a little for you to talk about your space in Central Falls and what happens there and what kind of work you do there around the art.
So Rhode Island Latino Arts basically is a generator of artists, really. It's all about the people here. The artists create art. I mean, going back to objects, it's something that comes out of their heart or of their hard work. And then the art that they create is what we do. We promote art by offering them that gallery space that you had. I mean, part of the impetus to open this space is that I had heard so often that we as Latinos don't have a space of our own. We get one or two of our paintings put in a corner of a larger exhibit, or we just don't get a chance to do it. So I created the organization, and so they put their art up and I gave them a chance to sell it. So a lot of the art here is for sale. And then I encourage them, I sit with them and I'm like, well, if you were to create some items like postcards or gift cards or anything like that, that would help you promote your art, we could sell it for you. So there's a little gift shop here. I call it a pop-up gift shop. And I think, Lori, you got a really cool mug out of it.
I am sitting here saying, why do I not have my mug? I want to jump away right now. But yes, I got a really cool mug from who is the artist from Lincoln?
So it's Tamara Diaz. She made the mug. She created the mug. She's Cuban. And so everybody that comes through our doors, and it's part of our mission, we promote Latino artists, Latino art, and the Latino culture through the art. The space is also primarily, as you saw in the video, it's become a place where artists come together and they learn from each other. So if you're a visual artist and you're put together with a performing artist, I just love what comes out of that, right? There's a whole new piece of art that comes out, whether it's a painting or a performance. And so we're, I guess, in the business of ensuring that the arts are an important piece of Rhode Island, but the Latino arts or Latinx individuals are part of that economic, engine that keeps Rhode Island in the national sphere,
Yeah, absolutely. I think, so as I'm listening, I want to ask a more personal question around how you created both the history and the book and the art and the place. And so what kind of professional training, this is a silly question, but like, how do you, let's say we're in our 40s, right? 30s, 40s, somewhere in there. But I think, as time goes on, you create what you love and we hope that we create what we love. But how do you create your professional career around all these different pieces?
So I'm a trained journalist, I guess you could say. I studied journalism. I wanted to be one. Actually, I wanted to be on television. That didn't work out for me. I don't enjoy looking at myself even right now. But I became a writer. I love to write. And so I think out of that, the ability to write something up and help artists promote their work, and the book came out of the love of writing, the research. And I think I'm also like your dad. I love to just see, I get inspired by what I read and what I don't see in books. And I hunt around to make sure that the picture is complete. So when I didn't see the Latinos in any books in the schools, for example, I thought, well, we need to be in there. And it was just that kind of feeling that I'm a big thinker, I guess. We need to find a place for a small group of individuals, whether it's the Latino community or the artists, and helping them find their place in this broader sense of life, I guess. And then moving to space, it was just being inspired. I love being surrounded. So my entire family are artists, so to speak. I have two artists, two art teachers. One taught high school, the other one taught elementary. One does art for a living. I have a sister who plays a cello. She's a musician. My mom makes stained glass. So I'm surrounded by art. And so I guess I migrated towards the art community for not primarily for that reason, but it's part of my upbringing as a member of a family that is surrounded by artists, but also by the Latino culture. The food, the colors, as you mentioned, everything about me is art. I mean, people talk about food, and I look at it as culinary art. I refer to it as art because I really want to highlight places like restaurants. We do a lot of work with restaurants, and we highlight, yes, you can go and eat there and do your business, but there's an art to what goes into the creation of a restaurant, what the owner goes through, developing a business plan. That's an art in itself. Opening it up, putting up the decorations, and making sure that that restaurant reflects you. And in the case of a Latino restaurant, the culture that you're trying to express. And then all the love that you put into creating food, the ingredients. I mean, that was one thing I also looked for when I came, is like ingredients. Where can I find tortillas? Where can I find chile? And those are, it's funny because with the oral histories, that's the first thing that people said. I mean, one of the questions I asked is, what did you miss when you first came here? Oh, the food. I miss buying, and it's specific pieces of food. So what goes into the opening of a restaurant is tracking down those ingredients of spices primarily, right? And making that experience for the people that you want to come to your restaurant to feel like you're in that country, or in to feel what you put into it. So that's kind of how I look at this work that I do.
One of the guys that commented on Facebook was talking about the Platanos in Central Falls, and how, I mean, we grew up in Cumberland, and so it was going there to get, and I'm looking for the best. I know the Cuban Revolution used to have the best maduros, and oh my God.
Yeah. And everybody does that, whether you're a Latino or, when you think about how the restaurants in this country got to be. I mean, I don't want to, I don't know the story behind pizza. It's not necessarily an Italian thing, but all the other dishes, the Mediterraneans and so, culinary arts was just an example of how I like to promote the Latino culture. We are artists in our own way, whether you're sitting down and creating a piece of visual art, or you're opening a restaurant. There's a lot that's involved in that.
Yeah. Where in Mexico is your family from?
I was born in a little town called Fresnillo. It's in the state of Zacatecas. My father is from Puebla. My mother is from Fresnillo. And so it's the center of my mother's is in 60 miles north of Mexico City. Then my father, Puebla, is closer to the frontera, to the border of Texas.
Okay. I'm thinking of San Miguel. I have a big, beautiful painting in my house that you've probably seen, but I bought it in San Miguel de Allende, which is a big art center north of Mexico City.
Yeah.
So so artists are listening, or people that want to participate in some way, maybe listening. How should people get involved if they want to, or contact you, or understand what's going on over there?
Well, right now I've actually, had a hard time with COVID, because a lot of our programming involved coming to our space and artists offering, for example, Latin drum. We had a Latin drum circle going here. We had script writing. We do plays and performances and poetry, and we can't really do that. And it's twofold. Artists don't feel comfortable, coming in and being exposed, and then I don't feel comfortable letting people in here and feeling, I want to make sure that people feel safe. So most of our work is by, you can email me if you do want to come and check out the little tiendita, as I call it, the little gift shop. And you can see what we have. You can come and take a look in person to some of the art that you saw. Email me at marta@rilatinoarts.org. And we have a website too. And it's www.rilatinoarts.org, where you can see a lot more of what we do.
Yeah, that's great. That's great.
And if you're a Latino artist and want to get involved, that too, it's not just coming to to enjoy and participate. But if you're a Latino artist and you just want to get to know more about what we do, we'll connect you with other artists if that's what it takes.
Mm-hmm. No, that's wonderful. I mean, you've done such amazing work in Rhode Island. How did you get to Rhode Island?
I came to school.
Ah, okay.
I came to Providence College. I came to study. And I was just going to be here for 4 years, and didn't work out that way. That PC is where I met my husband, so that's how I ended up staying here.
Oh, that's great. One of the things that Ben and I have learned is the things that move people geographically is either it's always going to be a job or a partner. Right. Those are the two things that just every time it comes up, it's either I went for a job or I went for a person.
That's what keeps you here. You come for the job or you come for the education, right? And then the partner keeps you here. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. So, I mean, Ben is a performance artist or went to school for performing arts. And I was like, oh, what's up, Ben? You're not really jumping in here on the performance.
Well, this is a fantastic conversation that I've really enjoyed being a fly on the wall for.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love, Marta, the way that you've spoken about artistry in all forms, right? Performing arts and physical art and culinary art, which I think gets overlooked way too much. And I've loved hearing the perspective and your story, and also finding out a little bit more about Lori's story. I did know that you were born in Colombia, but to find out more about your dad and all of that history has just been really fantastic. So I've personally enjoyed this episode so much. And I didn't really want to contribute because I just wanted to listen to everybody.
I didn't need to put you on the spot about that.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I did go to school for acting in New York City, and came home, and I had started a community theater and then a children's theater, and so I'm a big proponent of performing arts and art in general, and how transformative it is to the individuals doing it and to the people witnessing art. And I think that anytime you're able to showcase someone's art and you're able to give encouragement and a platform, I talk all the time about how art grows hope in people and confidence and opens up so many doors and so many other avenues in their life as well. And I think that the encouragement and the platform and the visibility that you are giving to everyone is just remarkable. And Rhode Island is incredibly lucky to have you.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. It's the same feeling I'm getting now as when I interview people and tell them what they're doing. It's like, nah, it's just a job, or nah, I just was doing what I do, right?
Right.
So that's thank you.
Yeah, because I say small stories, you say big stories. I'm right. It's the contribution to the whole, from my personal perspective, in the right contribution, about lifting people up and expanding our communities and strengthening all of what we are. I think it's if we're doing that from our heart in the right way, it should grow, and it is growing little by little. You gotta keep it going.
Yeah. And I love what you said about the arts. It is very uplifting, and it's during COVID, that's what got the artists going, is when they were given a chance to create, right? And then they gave it to me. And so now I can share it with the world. I mean, hopefully when you come, if you want to come and anybody wants to come and visit, you'll get to see that beautiful art that you saw. And it fits perfectly in the color scheme of the building. Yeah. Oh, so the house I'm in is a 1900 colonial house. So who would have thought that it was built by a doctor, that this doctor would in 2021 and 2022, it would become a beautiful community art space.
Yeah, that's really great. I think about, as I'm looking at where you are, I'm like, okay, first thing I need to do is pick a new color for my walls. I don't mean to minimize in any way, but this is, you can see the difference it makes in terms of just like the lifting up of spirit. I feel it.
Yeah, and that's what gets me going is when people walk in the space, or their reaction is like, oh, whoa, this space. And that's what I love about coming in here. I come to work every day.
Yeah, that was exactly my response. That's why I wanted to like have people see it, because it really is beautiful, and it's right in the heart there of Central Falls. Well, I want to thank you so much for bringing everything you do here to the community. We'll send the video out, we'll send it to you, and it becomes a podcast as well. And we thank all of our listeners, and please share and support all of this work. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for coming to my space.
Yeah, I love your space.
We appreciate it. I can't wait to come visit in person someday soon.
Anytime, Ben. Come on over. Do some of your theater stuff with us. Love to do it.
I will. I haven't done it in a while, but I will. All right. Thank you so much.
Marta.
We'll talk to you soon.
Have a great day.
Bye.
Bye.
She was wonderful. Thank you so much. That was one of my favorite episodes so far.
I think I was waiting, because after we interview people, you always go, well, that was amazing. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah. A lot of the people that we interview, I don't know beforehand, obviously, because they're coming from Shop Local and Visual Thrive. And they're always amazing, wonderful people. And sometimes I like to jump in, and sometimes I like to just listen, because the stories that are being told are incredible. So this was definitely one of those times.
I think her work is so amazing. It's so huge, and it's understated. And I think that anything we can do to like lift it up and expose it it's really amazing. Rhode Island is truly such a small state of however many multitude of cultures we have here, that we need to just start recognizing and embracing and allowing. So yeah. I love it.
I love it. I love it as well. What's new before we go? What's new with Shop Local? What's new in general? How's it going?
Shop Local. So we're in the process of revamping all the back end on the software stuff, making the site simple, easy, fast. We're actually, and it's the same thing in coaching, right? When someone comes to say, I need coaching, usually it's things need to be taken away before things can be put in that are better. And so I think that we're doing exactly that with the site. We're taking a lot of stuff that we feel is unnecessary away, and we're going to tighten it up to make it better. And that is the process we're in. We keep getting signups. Valentine's Day is coming up, and we can already see our vendors shifting and readying for Valentine's Day. So we'll start that push soon. Shop local for your loved ones. And I think we're just going to keep rolling along. And in a few months, the site will start to, I think people will start to notice changes, and we can talk about that.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Lori. It's always fun to do business over breakfast with you. I really appreciate it. I look forward to this every Tuesday morning, and thank you for introducing me to these wonderful guests as well. Because people like Marta are one of the reasons that that Rhode Island is such a special place. So,
I
thank
agree.
you guys.
Thank you.
All right. Well, go ahead. Sorry, Lori.
No. I was going to say, so what's up on your day today before we...
Oh, geez. Meetings and we're doing a lot of stuff for the... Oh, I should mention this before we go. The Ronald McDonald House fundraiser that we're doing, Rock the House, February 5th, 2022. 8 hours of a live stream from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. We're very excited. So for people that are watching this business over breakfast, you're probably entrepreneurs, you're probably small business owners, you probably have a bunch of marketing questions or business questions. Every hour during the stream, we're going to be giving away at least one of these books. by Gary Vaynerchuk, 12 and a half, Leveraging the Emotional Ingredients Necessary for Business Success. This book sold over 1 million copies before it ever launched.
Wow.
So we're giving away at least one copy every hour of this
What's
book.
the name of it?
It is called 12 and a half, Leveraging the Emotional Ingredients Necessary for Business Success. And I'll just go through those actually. The 12 and a half ingredients, and it's 12 and a half because he does not have one of them mastered, which is why he said that. Gratitude, self-awareness, accountability, optimism, empathy, kindness, tenacity, curiosity, patience, conviction, humility, ambition, and the one that he only has half of is kind candor.
What is it?
Kind candor.
Kind candor.
Yeah. Being able to tell somebody, like, you know, this isn't working, but it's not like this is what, and you know, and anyway, it's a fantastic book. We have 36 of them or something, so we're giving them away. And we're very excited about that. We're also giving away an NFT during the event, which is really nice. I mean, honestly, who knows how much that could be worth?
Right.
And yeah, we have a bunch of musical. It's Saturday, February 5th from 2 to 10 p.m. And we have a bunch of musical guests, comedians. Pat is running the Boston Marathon also to benefit Ronald McDonald House. And he is going to be running a marathon live on the stream. So I don't know if I told you that last time.
Yeah, you did. Oh my goodness.
So he's going to be running a marathon live on camera on a treadmill in a studio because it's going to be February. And he's going to be running a marathon, and we're going to keep checking in with him throughout the day to see how it's going, and then make him continue to host the rest of the show after running a marathon. So our goal is to raise $15,000 for the Ronald McDonald House Charities of New England, Boston, and Providence. And that number, $15,000, is how much it costs for a family to stay in the Ronald McDonald House for 90 days, which is how long Pat's family stayed in the Ronald McDonald House when their son PJ was born in 2014. They were there for Christmas. They were there for New Year's. They were there for Valentine's Day. So that was that was obviously a very difficult time. PJ is now 7 and he's doing amazing. And Pat is an endurance athlete and the co-owner of 321 and doing all of this wonderful stuff. And we're really happy and excited to give back and hopefully to pay it forward because, you know, when a family is in need, the Ronald McDonald House is one of the few places that's there and that they can turn to like that. So wonderful organization. And we're really happy to be doing the Rock the House fundraiser February 5th.
Yeah.
Thanks, Lori. I wouldn't have mentioned that.
No. And even as you say that, I'm thinking like the whole premise of all the work that we do, the work that Marta does and you and me and Shop Local and everything, it's give back, move forward. You know, I mean, it is possible to give back to the community while moving the community forward. I just, when you said that, it just hit me. So
by the way, that event, that 8-hour event, is going to be simulcast on a bunch of different Facebook pages, YouTube pages, LinkedIn pages. So it has a potential reach of over 200,000. I'm expecting over 25,000. But it has a potential reach of over 200,000. Like, it's going to be on the Misquamicut Beach page, which has 120,000 followers by itself. And on the New England Ronald McDonald House pages, etc.
Can you link it onto the Shop Local Rhode Island page and let us support you?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I will do that. And so it's absolutely wonderful. We're very excited about all of that. But the reason is that we want to help people, right? We want to help families that are struggling and in need. 2 years ago, today, or 2 years ago, yesterday was the last time that either of my parents were ever at their house. My mom left to go to the hospital January 2nd, 2020, and for dementia. And then my dad left with a mysterious respiratory illness on January 16th. And neither of them ever came home. They both had to go to the nursing home after that, and then they both passed in 2020. It was a different situation than Pat's. I did not have to do that. I did not have to stay at the Ronald McDonald House. I was fortunate in that way. However, like, those are the types of situations. Everybody has those stories.
And that Ronald McDonald House can just take the angst out of what are you going to do so that you can be close to your loved one.
Yep.
I mean, that's it. That is such a huge logistical issue that needs to just be taken off the table for people.
Yep, absolutely. So anyway, thank you so much, Lori, for letting me chat about that for a second. I love talking about the Ronald McDonald House fundraiser, and I want to encourage everybody,
like a marathon Shop Local Rhode Island, because I feel like we could just chat all day and just go from subject to subject to subject.
Let's do that. Let's plan something for like late February and get every small business that we can think of.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Right. Let's wait until the website is really cool.
There you go. And we'll do our own small business Saturday, and it'll be 8 hours of a live stream of chatting with small businesses, sharing videos of small businesses.
Yeah.
All right. We'll get that on the books.
All right.
Thank you, Lori, so much. I will talk to you soon. And for all of you, please go to shoplocalrhodeisland.com. It is all of the convenience and none of the guilt of those big online retailers. You can check them out, Shop Local Rhode Island. If you know a local business, which you do, if you support a local business that you love, which you do, then make sure that they get on Shop Local Rhode Island. It is incredibly affordable for a small business. There is no percentage of sales that gets taken. And it's super easy to onboard. Lori and Scott and Danielle and everybody at Shop Local are just amazing human beings who are doing this to connect our communities and to grow that and to strengthen it so that we can keep more of that money in the Rhode Island economy, so that we can bolster some of those numbers that fell during the last 2 years, so that we can make sure that all of these businesses in Rhode Island thrive and not just survive this pandemic and the rest of time to come. So thank you guys so much for watching Business Over Breakfast. For Lori Gittari, my name is Ben Barber, and we will talk to you soon.